Thanks for letting me spend a couple minutes with you. I'm going to be brief in my opening comments just to say we're really excited to be able to extend our lease with Rupp Arena. The history of Rupp Arena is 40 years this year, and it's a wonderful place. It's got incredible memories for our fans, for our coaches, and for our players. And a lot of people have walked those hallways and walked onto that court. And it's a very, very special place to many, many people. So it's these journeys on these things always wind around and get to a spot where hopefully everybody feels good about it, and I think we do, and I think the city does, and we're excited to know that this is something we can put behind us, and through 2033, our home is something we can continue to work at and grow in a really special way, and recruit to a wonderful facility. So some changes are coming, some things that are going to occur within the facility that the city is going to help us with, and we're looking forward to that. And so it's I really want to thank Brent Rice and our Executive Vice President of the University, Eric Monday, really diligent in helping us work through the details of all this stuff. These things are complicated, and when you're talking about things that extend this many years, it's really, really hard to forecast out that far. So I'm thankful for their efforts, and it's a good day for Kentucky. It's a good day for our fans, and it's a good day for the University of Kentucky basketball program. So
Can you elaborate a little bit on the changes that are
You know, I think there'll be some physical changes. You can read in the letter of intent. There'll be some changes prior. The base of the agreement starts in 2018-19, that fall season of 18. There'll be some changes, some structural changes in terms of the seating. Up top, we're going to try and put chair backs up top. And you'll read the sections. I'll mess up the numbers so you can read those. And I think it's, but anyway, you can see the numbers. So there'll be some chair backs up top, which I think are really, really important for our fans. I think that for that seating experience up there is very, very important. There's going to be some clubs that we add in the concourse, in the outer part of the underneath part of the bowl. And we're not sure exactly how that's going to play out just yet, or where that's all going to occur and what it's going to look like. But there's some commitments that LCC folks have made to help us with that. And that is real important to us as it relates to how we grow our program in terms of revenue and things. Those are things that fans are looking for. We're trying to create things, again, that go back to the fan experience and allowing our fans to continue to enjoy the facility and the game that we play. So we're looking forward to that. So those are two of the big ones. Obviously, we've got the video boards and the ribbon boards and the sound system that are in there currently. And so we continue just to continue to try and put pieces of the puzzle in place that make it continue to make it a really special place to play.
Any changes to the outer space?
Well, I mean, obviously the city has got plans for the convention center and that stuff, and that is a part of their project, okay? And we're obviously this sort of completes that whole project down there in terms of the plans. What that does in terms of how that affects it, I'm really not sure at this point.
How important were the changes they've already made in making you all confident that this was somewhere you wanted to stay?
I think that's very helpful. I mean, let's face it. That if you've been in the arena and you've seen it's made a big difference in terms of the atmosphere, and so really, really helpful. Their commitment to get this done was strong. And we didn't want to go anyplace else. We wanted to be there. I don't think there's anybody in the world today that sits there and says, hey, we want to take on a $300 million arena on, when we've got a wonderful tradition-rich facility that we've been playing in for 40 years down there. That's not where we wanted to be. The city needs us to be downtown. We wanted to be downtown. We've got a great place to play, and there's too much tradition and history to walk away from that.
How big a deal is it to kind of close that chapter after a couple of years of uncertainty and going through all those deals?
Yeah, I think it's great to close a chapter. I think that, again, when you go through things like this, they're never a straight path. Everyone wants it to be real clean. Everyone wants to say, these are the things that are going to occur, this, and this, and it's going to be a really clean path. That never happens. Not in the history of negotiations does that ever happen. And when you're talking about things that are 17 years away to finality from where you are right now, and you still got 2 years left on an existing agreement, there's pieces of that is the existing agreement that are hard to work your way through. how do you get to the end of that spot, and then how do you start up a new one, and that gets you out there. And most of us that are signing these documents probably won't be here in 15 years. There's a pretty good chance I won't be. So, so you want to make sure that as you establish things for people going forward, that you establish something that everyone feels good about.
Anything else?
Any progress, as we're talking about facilities, I know there was some talk recently about upgrading some stuff here in this facility. Any new developments?
Yeah, we continue. I think this, we've been talking about that, and we're working our way through that. We've got 2 or 3 things in this facility, and then obviously as it relates to dining for all of our student athletes. Clearly, we've done a lot of things of residence life and I would call it training table things on campus. There's a piece of that that's going to go away in a short period of time for our athletes on this side of campus, so we're having to address that. That's part of that project, addressing all of that. So we've got a couple different thoughts about how we get that done. As it relates to our basketball facility down here and our footprint down here, that will be a part of that conversation. Obviously, we've got some donors we're actively talking to about how we get all that done. So there's some things we want to do here in Joe Craft to continue to keep up to date here. And there's some things we're going to need to do outside of Joe Craft as it relates to feeding the athletes that continue to reside on this side of campus. When I first came here in 2002, and I've said this at other times, 80%, 75 to 80% of our athletes resided on this side of campus. That has been a fundamental, absolute switch. Now, all of a sudden, 70 to 80% of our athletes live and reside and do all their work on that side of campus. So the shift to all of our facilities in terms of food and services and those kind of things we've got to understand how that works and where our young people live. And so we've got, for the 20 to 25% that are still on the north side of campus over here, we've got to pay attention to what we're doing over here. That includes both our basketball programs, it includes our volleyball program, our rifle team, all those folks that live here. And we've got to make sure that we haven't lost sight of those folks, and we absolutely are paying attention to the facilities, the food, the care of all those things that we do over here.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
More things too.